white and black and marble.
Sounds good.
And they gave them drink in the vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure.
So the mandate right now is that that's just if it pleases you, brother, do it. Because we're celebrating right now. Verse 9.
Verse 9. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
Which when you precept, you'll find out that's King Xerxes as well. So now you got the queen. She's entertaining the women. Even understand, like a lot of the issues today is that there aren't enough women to minister and train up other women. So it's left on the men to do it. Thereby, men have multiple women thronged to them, not in the place of lust, but just in the place of learning. And hopefully the women that are learning from these men, they will grow up in the maturity to lead about other women and to teach the children. That's what we want. We want to be able to train up women who we trust with that kind of teaching, who we trust with the raising of our nation and our kingdom. Let's stay in this story though. Verse 10.
Verse 10. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king,
Go ahead.
to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
Not talking about a liquor bag, brother. Said bring Vashti for the king with the crown royal. It's about to go down. Let me stop. So he sent his people that's with him every day to go and bring his wife, the queen, right? Read verse 12.
Verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
So all he did was like, you know what? Go get Vashti. You know what I'm saying? She a bad one. I need these people to see what she looking like. Okay? The thing is, she said no. Now, when we just read verse 12, it said the king was very wroth and his anger burned in him. Like, most people would sit back like, well, she busy. She had a feast, man. You know what I'm saying? What you mean? Are you going to bid her? But the thing is, her husband's command was Sayala, or come here, right? Read verse 13.
Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment.
Go ahead.
And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsana, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media.
So not only is he a king himself, he got princes of various provinces sitting around him, of men of authority. So they all sitting here. When the report came back to him, like, blah, she not coming, man. I told her what you said. Yeah, it's me. I work in here. She not working in front of you every day. So it ain't no mistake that I went to her and said you came. So she know that you want her, but she said no. So all these men of authority heard this. Keep going.
Which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law, because she has not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus, but by the chamberlains?
Now let's go down. Let's jump down to no, keep reading.
And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Now you see what just one woman's disobedience has done? Her husband asked her to come here. She said no. It has caused a domino effect for people to be looking at him like, yo, they say she wronged not only the king, she wronged the princes, she wronged all the people. Like she did them an injustice by showing disobedience to her husband. Keep going.
For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
So this is what they saying to the king, like, yo, what she just did, women is about to gossip. Period. You know where it said the Lord didn't make him out the mouth, that she would be a talebearer? He's paying right here that this is what women about to do. They about to go and tell every other woman in the province, in the kingdom, all throughout the land, that Queen Vashti said lie or no. Right? Keep going.
For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not.
So they tell you exactly what this is about to happen. They say that women about to go and spread everything. That he said, come here. She said no. And that has done everybody a great injustice, okay? It said, so, verse 17, unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. Meaning it's going to start causing women to look at their husband like, whatever you talking about, or so what, but you don't do that. You can't tell me what to do. It brings on contempt and wrath, something you don't want to deal with. Okay? Go ahead, verse 18.
Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
See that? By this very deed, and by this going abroad to other women, this is going to arise, contempt and wrath. Why do you think the Negro, Black American family is so distorted? Half the marriages, probably more than half the marriages even stay together now. If they do, what's involved? Contempt and wrath. Because there's no obedience. There's no structure and order in the house. Why? Because women look at it like it's a snare or it's grievous. But Paul said it's not for us a snare, but it's so you can please the Lord. This truth is coming out for you to please the Lord. For those who have unbelieving spouses, for you to win them over, indeed, they can see your chaste conversation coupled with fear. It's about your tongue. It's about what you're saying, what you're doing. It really is. That holds a major part to it, whether you want to accept that or not, daughter of Zion. What verse do we leave off at?
Verse 19.
Okay, read that there.
If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Whoa, stop right there. Now, up to this point, this woman could have been pleasing this man hand and foot. He could have been pleased at every angle, all the above. But it was one thing that came along that made him very unpleased with her. You might look at it like this is a small thing. Why didn't he just go up to her and go get her? But the thing is, he commanded it. It's something he wanted. And because we read from Genesis 3 and 16, he can't expect it because he has the rule. But because of her disobedience in one thing, now she's about to lose her royalty. Now, it's about to be another woman in her place. How about that? How many women are dealing with that? How many women are dealing with husbands who maybe be considering getting another wife because he feels he isn't pleased? You have more responsibility on you to please your husband. Now, he isn't to forsake you. He isn't to just turn his back on you. But we read last week where it says the words of a wise woman. Stand before thy husband and minister to him, and he shall be thy slave. But if you stand up against him, oh, he's going to lord over you. He's going to master over you. And you're going to be vile and corrupt in his eyes, just like we read in this story. This woman about to get kicked out. She's about to get the boot. Read verse 20.
Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both great and
Go ahead.
and the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan.
So they asked him to send into your empire, for your empire is very large, that all wives give to their husbands honor, both small and great, whether your husband is a king or he scrubbed toilets in McDonald's. It don't matter. You understand? Whether he knows great men and stand amongst them himself, and he himself in no way is wise or great, you still give him that honor like he is. 22.
For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house.
Every man should do what?
Shall bear rule in his own house.
Every man shall bear rule in his own house. Read.
And that it should be published according to the language of every people.
So this is one little incident, but it caused a worldwide decree to go out. Though it's already written of in Genesis. So things must have been getting out of hand to such a point of women dishonoring their husbands that this queen eventually felt that she's going to say no. This shows me that that's just a reflection of things already getting out of hand, which is why they felt the need to go ahead and put this worldwide stamp on it. Husbands bear rule in his own house. Go ahead, chapter 2, verse 1.
Chapter 2, verse 1. Esther, chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto custody of Heji, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them.
He's saying, let their things for purification be given him. So this is what Vashti has to face now because of her failure to please her husband. She has to live with the fact that there's a building over here full of the most beautifulest women from his whole providence. Not only women, but virgins. There's a difference. They've been brought to this particular house where Heji, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, he said, let their things for purification be given them. There was like a year-long process that these women would fashion themselves and adorn themselves into the customs of pleasing a king, both physically, you understand, and in any other helps he need. So these women were nurtured for a whole year, taking baths and, aloe baths and rose petals and, the frankincense and myrrh hookup. And, they, for a whole year, softening up their flesh for the pleasure of the king. So I brought all this out, and I said this was like a husband's role when I said the title. It's just ironic that I have to go into this to bring back the husband's role, because we have men who are actually led by their wives. And the unfortunate thing is some of these men are Hebrew men to the point where they know they're Hebrew men. You know what I'm saying? They know and they read Sabbath after Sabbath the things they're supposed to be doing and going through, but yet they only budge and move when wife say so. That's not a good look. You understand? That's not a good look. Because wife will look back at a city that's being hit with brimstone. You understand? Wife will tell you to curse God and die. I can pull up a few more examples, but for the sake of time, that's good enough. Let's jump to Numbers chapter 30. It's not good to follow the leading of your wife, and wife, you shouldn't be trying to jump up and lead your husband. Give him advice. Pray for him. Ask him what he think about certain things. Cause him to begin to consider the laws of the prophets. That's you're his helpmeet in that area. So I just want to pull out real quick before I end this. I want to go back and observe how The Lord orders the authority